Hi, please welcome to the part 4 of this video series. We are looking at AZ303 real exam questions. The chances of these questions coming in the exam is very high. They may change the order of the questions or the options. So please focus on the concept. For previous questions, please refer parts 1 to 3 of this video series. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. If you have any constructive comments or a word or two of appreciation, please drop in your comments. Your feedback keeps me motivated to put on some more content similar to these. Let's jump to the questions. So this is a question. Our first step is to identify the keywords. We need to identify the underutilized virtual machines. Now suppose you have 4 virtual machines. Out of these you see the first two is 80% utilized, the third is 40% utilized, and the fourth is 5% utilized. So you want to find out which one is the most underutilized ones. So this is what our question says: identify the underutilized virtual machines. And why do you want to do it? Because you want to save your cost. So if you know for a consistent amount of period these virtual machines are not utilized fully, especially this one, the fourth one, then it makes sense to get rid of it and save your cost. So the question is asking which blade should we use out of these 4 options. Now let's look at advisor first, option D. So if you see this, it says it allows you to optimize your Azure deployments. The second thing it does is it analyzes your resource configuration and usage telemetry. Like usage telemetry means it sees which ones are utilized fully, partially, and so on. These are usage telemetries like 5% and etc. And what does it do is it improves cost effectiveness. That is what we need for this answer. So advisor looks correct, but let's scan through other options. Let's see monitor. See, as the word monitor suggests, see, if you have a manufacturing plant and if someone says uh, in the control room, monitoring has to be done. That means they are trying to monitor if the plant is running fine, if there are issues with particular components, and if action needs to be taken so that your plant can keep running faultlessly. It should not shut down in between. Similarly here, we will use Azure Monitor to monitor these VMs to see if everything should be running. Suppose my need is that at least 2 VMs should be up and running all the time. So it will monitor metrics related to performance and availability. That is the important thing. It will not help you with reducing the cost because the purpose is different. The purpose is to make use monitor to ensure high availability. So if you see this document, what it does is it's saying it maximizes the availability and performance of your applications. That is point one. And one good thing about monitor is you can use it on cloud as well as on premises environments. So a lot of services will work only on cloud, like services which is available from Azure, it works only on cloud. But Azure Monitor has capabilities to monitor both. So very good tool to monitor your hybrid cloud environments. So what is the important thing Monitor is doing is it helps you proactively identify issues so that you can fix them and make the system highly available and performance should be optimum. So we now know that Monitor is not used for cost savings. So C is wrong. Let's look at customer insights. Now this customer insights is not a Azure package. It is available in Office 365 and it is used for improving customer experience. So it is totally out of context for our question. Now let's look at option A, metrics. Now when we were discussing monitor, we explained why it is used. We told it is used to make a system highly available, monitor its metrics. So without metrics, Azure Monitor is just half. Like metrics is the first half of monitor, and then only monitor can give you excellent results. So metrics is a part of, I would say monitor only. Without metrics, monitor cannot work. So metrics is primarily used to make sure that the numeric data is collected constantly and it is stored in a time series database. That is what your matrix is doing. And monitor matrix is just half of the data platform supporting Azure Monitor, you know. So the other half is Azure Monitor Logs. So we will stop the explanation now for this question. We got our answer. Reasonably enough, advisor is the right answer for this question. Now let's move to the next question. So you can pause this video here to read this question. Now, like I say, first identify the keywords. You have understood the story. You understand what is needed. Identify the keywords now. So when you are reading this story, as per my opinion, this is the one that will help you solve this question. So this keyword will help you solve this question. Let's see at look at the questions now. So you have to mark yes or no. The first one says if user 1 modifies the desktop background of computer 1. That means user 1 modifies the desktop background of computer 1. User 1 will see the changed background when signing to computer 3. So user 1 will see the same background when signing to computer 3. Can it happen? Yes. That's why I told this buddy will make things possible for us. See, what it provides is this enterprise state roaming. It provides you with a unified experience across Windows devices. What do you mean by unified experience? It means like same this question that is asking. User 1 changes the background of computer 1 but sees the same background in computer 3, the changed background in computer 3. User 1 can get into any computer and see the same experience now. But can user 2 also get the same experience? Think about it. See, user 1 was getting it because you are doing enterprise state roaming for group 1. So that is group 1 where user 1 belongs to, and group A which is computer 1. So user 1 gets access to computer 1 in group A and can get access to computer 3 as well. Even though it belongs to a different group, it will still get access to it. Okay, so our first answer is yes. Now second question says same thing if user 2 modifies the desktop background of use computer 1 and they are trying to log into computer 2. So let's see, user 2 modifies the computer background of computer 2, but say user 2 belongs to group 2. The enterprise state roaming has been enabled for group 1, not for group 2. So this will not work. The answer is no for this. The third one says if user 1 modifies desktop of computer 3, can they see the change background in computer 2? See, user 1 has access to a lot of things. So it can do anything. So this is also yes. So these are our answers and we will move forward. Now this is the next question. You may pause this video to read it carefully. See, I don't have a keyword here because very small question. So the keyword mostly is in this ARM template. So basically this is a ARM template. So what is a ARM template? It is very easy. Suppose you are in a dev environment, you deployed resources. Suppose you needed SQL Server, Azure SQL Server, you needed VM, you installed suppose some software on VM, maybe Informatica or Tableau on your VM. Now your development is done and people say, hey, put it into UAT, put it into prod. So would you again install and configure Informatica on a VM in UAT? Will you again configure Tableau in UAT on a VM? No, you create a ARM, that is a resource manager template, and the same template, this is code as an infrastructure, the same template you deploy in UAT, you will get exactly the same software, same configuration, no manual errors. That is the best way to do it. That's why we are using ARM. Now this is an ARM. What the question is saying is during the deployment of template 1, you can specify what out of these options, what you should specify during the deployment of template 1? The number of resources to deploy. See, you see your count, the number of resources, the number of storage, they have already mentioned, so this is wrong. The name of resources to deploy, they already told they are putting storage. So I don't think that is the first thing that is important. The resource group to which to deploy the resources. Yes, you need the resource group. You see there is no mention of the resource group. Always remember, the first thing you have to do, if you try to create any resource in Azure, the first thing it asks is to create a resource group. That is the first thing it asks. You try creating it, you do a practical and try creating small VM, or try creating storage, Azure storage. The first thing you have to do is create a resource group. Similar to this, in ARM also, the first thing you have to do is create a resource group or ask for a resource group. Okay. The last one says the permissions for resources that will be deployed. It is the next thing, but first thing is we have to put resource group. So the next question says template 1 deploys what? So the first option says a single storage account in one resource group. If you see, this is a storage account, no doubt about it. But there are three of them. So this is wrong. Second one says three storage accounts in one resource group. Yes, this is a storage account and there are three of them. And like we told, we will have to ask for a resource group. So in one resource group, this all three will go. So if you see here, there is a resource group. There is one resource group on which these three storage accounts will be created. The third one says three resource groups that each has one storage account. So no, this is not, this three is for this storage account. This is not for the resource group, that is wrong. And then three resource groups for each, that each has three storage accounts. No, that is also wrong. There are no three storage, there is only one resource group. So this is our final answer. Let's move forward to the next question. Now you may pause this video here to read this question. So this is purely a website related question. So you have an app service where you are hosting some web application and you have to monitor it. So tracing is a sort of monitoring. The only thing is, why we do tracing, we want to understand user behavior, who is accessing my website, how many times, and those kind of stuff. So these four things are our keywords. Sorry, these three things are our keywords. Let's scan through the options, because this sort of answer you can only solve, this sort of question you can only solve by going through the options. The first one says configure IAS logging for log analytics. See, IAS logging will configure or monitor these properties. It will track these properties only: computer, methods, agents, usernames. It will not help you with the AJAX call. There is nothing mentioned about the AJAX call. So our first answer is, his first option is wrong. Now let's look at this option, network watcher. So the network watcher, the main purpose of that is to monitor, diagnose, and view metrics for the virtual network and the resources, that is the infrastructure as a service resources deployed on your virtual network. That is the purpose. So one example is monitoring the communication between a virtual machine and an endpoint. Another is to diagnose network traffic, filtering problems, and etc. So none of it is linked to our question. This is totally wrong. Nowhere linked to our question. Our question wants to track and trace uh, the app service, which what you need is monitoring the trend, page load speed by browsers for the customer, to identify the customer behaviors, etc. So B is wrong. Let's look at configuring custom logs in log analytics. So as the name says, custom logs, it collects the log data via the log analytics agent for Azure Monitor. So the data can have these things like source systems, sources, event logs, event level, etc. These details. But that is not what we want to monitor. We want to understand the page load speed for, by browser, AJAX call responses, etc. So C looks incorrect. Let's scan D first and then C, between C and D, which is the right option. So D suggests to use site extensions, application insights site extension. So this is where you will monitor the app service, and there are extensions available for this. So these are the latest extension agent which is built in into the app service image by default. It comes by default. Now if you see for .NET on Windows, uh, manual enablement is deprecated. It is no longer available. It is available by default. So this has agent based application monitoring, and you can use custom API calls to track events which are not captured in the agent standard agent based monitoring. So your web applications are having similar components. Some may have ASP.NET or Node.js, Java, etc. So this is one option which is very useful to monitor it. So we will lock this answer and move forward. Let's move to this question. Please pause this video to read this question carefully. So for this question, this is the keyword in my opinion. You have to provide this solution which minimizes administrative efforts. So let's try to understand this question in the form of a diagram. So you have VNet 1 on a resource group 1, and then you also have VNet 2 on resource group 2, and there is no connectivity between these two resource groups or these two VNets. What happens is now admin 1, he creates a VM1, and the disk, the data of this VM is in this disk 1, which is in VNet 1. And now what he does is he deploys an application on VM1. The question says is we want to move this app to VNet 2 with very less administrative effort. This app needs to be moved to VNet 2 with very less administrative efforts. Now, please remember, we cannot migrate this VM1 directly. There is no connectivity. So what we do now is delete this VM1, and we create a new VM2 in VNet 2. Now VMs cannot be migrated, but the disks can be uh, unplugged and plugged. So we take this disk one from here and plug it here. Okay, and now uh, our app comes back here because our app data was in the disk. So we have just mounted the disk to VM2, so the app data is available, and this is how the app has been moved with very less administrative effort. Why it is less? Because we are not doing a disk to disk migration. So these two are the right answers. See, if you see this option, create a network interface, if internet is not there, there is no connectivity, how will you put a NI? You cannot do it. And moving NI to RG2 not possible because there is no connectivity. And move VM1 to RG2 not possible, there is no connectivity. So this is our answer. This brings us to the fag end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. If you have any constructive comments, please drop in your comments. Likes and comments and subscription helps me understand your sentiments, and I can put more contents similar to these. See you in the next part of this video series.